Picture this. It's 1957, and there's a car rolling down Main Street that makes everyone stop and stare. Chrome gleaming in the sunlight, tail fins reaching toward the sky like a rocket ship, an engine that rumbles with a sound that seems to say, the future is now. That car was the Chevrolet Bel Air, and it wasn't just transportation, it was a dream on wheels, a symbol of everything America wanted to be. It represented optimism, style, and the belief that tomorrow would always be better than today. For years, the Bel Air ruled the roads, turned heads at drive-in movies, and became the car every kid drew in their notebook margins. Then, like so many beautiful things, it disappeared, replaced by more practical designs in changing times. But here's the remarkable part. Automakers never stopped trying to recreate that magic. Today, we're looking at the top 10 modern cars still chasing the legend of the 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air, the car that defined an entire era and set a standard for style that's never been matched. Number 10. The Chevrolet SSR, when nostalgia met confusion. In 2003, Chevrolet tried something bold with the SSR, which stood for Super Sport Roadster. They looked back at those gorgeous 1950s pickup trucks with their rounded fenders and chrome details and thought, what if we built that today? The SSR had a retractable hardtop, a pickup bed, and styling that borrowed heavily from Chevy's golden age. When you saw one driving down the street, it definitely caught your eye. Part hot rod, part modern truck, part time machine. The problem was, nobody could quite figure out what it was supposed to be. It wasn't practical enough to be a real truck, wasn't sporty enough to compete with actual sports cars, and cost too much to justify as a toy. The SSR chased the Bel Air's spirit of being different and eye-catching, but it forgot that the Bel Air was also useful. It could haul the family to church on Sunday and look good doing it. The SSR disappeared after just 3 years because it turned out that nostalgia alone wasn't enough if people couldn't figure out where it fit in their lives. Number 9. The Plymouth Prowler, a hot rod that lost its heat. When Plymouth unveiled the Prowler in 1997, it looked like something that drove straight out of a 1950s custom car show. It had those exposed front wheels, that low-slung body, and a design that screamed rebellion and creativity. The Prowler was Plymouth's way of saying, remember when cars were fun? Remember when they had personality? It captured the visual magic of the Bel Air era, when cars looked like rolling artwork instead of efficient transportation pods. But here's where the dream fell apart. Under that hot rod body was a V6 engine, the same one you'd find in a minivan. Car enthusiasts expected the rumble and power of a V8, something that matched those glory days when bigger was always better. The Prowler looked perfect at car shows and turned heads everywhere it went, but it couldn't deliver the experience people wanted. It chased the Bel Air's style without capturing its substance, and by 2002, it was gone. Sometimes, looking back isn't enough. You have to make people feel the same way they felt back then, and that takes more than just the right curves and chrome.
Number 8. The Chrysler PT Cruiser, the people's time machine. The PT Cruiser arrived in 2000 like a blast from the past, with rounded fenders and a profile that reminded everyone of 1940s panel trucks and hot rods. Chrysler was chasing that same magic the Bel Air had, the ability to make ordinary people feel special when they drove. At first, it worked like gangbusters. People lined up to buy PT Cruisers, dealers charged over sticker price, and parking lots suddenly looked a lot more interesting. It was affordable, practical enough for everyday use, and made you smile every time you walked up to it. The PT Cruiser proved that people were hungry for something different, something with character in a world of boring sedans. But trends change, and what felt fresh in 2000 started feeling old by 2010. The retro styling that once seemed cool began to look dated, and the PT Cruiser couldn't evolve without losing what made it special in the first place. Production ended in 2010, but for a decade it gave regular folks a taste of that Bel Air feeling, the sense that your car said something about you, that it had a personality all its own. Number 7. The Chevrolet HHR, following in familiar footsteps. Just when the PT Cruiser was starting to fade, Chevrolet jumped in with their own retro wagon called the HHR in 2006. The name stood for Heritage High Roof, and it borrowed styling cues from Chevy's 1949 Suburban. Like the PT Cruiser, it was trying to capture that post-war optimism and style that the Bel Air represented so perfectly. The HHR was practical, with plenty of cargo space and decent fuel economy, but it also had character with its rounded shape and vintage-inspired details. Chevy was clearly chasing the same nostalgia market, hoping to give people that emotional connection to simpler times. The HHR sold reasonably well and stuck around until 2011, but it always felt like it was following someone else's homework. It chased the Bel Air's legacy by way of the PT Cruiser's success, and that made it feel less like a bold statement and more like a calculated business decision. The Bel Air was original, groundbreaking, the first to dare something different. The HHR was comfortable and practical, but it was always going to be remembered as the car that came second, arriving at a party just as people were starting to leave.
Number 6. The Ford Thunderbird, 2002 to 2005, when lightning didn't strike twice. Ford's revival of the Thunderbird in 2002 was a direct attempt to recapture the magic of the 1950s, particularly the beautiful two-seaters from 1955 to 1957. These original Thunderbirds competed directly with the Bel Air for the hearts of Americans who wanted style and performance. The new Thunderbird was gorgeous, there's no other word for it, with porthole windows, a retro dashboard, and curves in all the right places. Ford went all in on nostalgia, even offering a removable hardtop like the originals. For a moment, it seemed like they'd done it, like they'd successfully brought back the glory days. But the new Thunderbird cost nearly $40,000, had a tiny trunk, barely seated 2 people, and didn't really excel at anything except looking pretty. The original Bel Air and Thunderbird were beautiful, but they were also the cars people actually drove every day, the cars that went to work and took families on vacation. This new Thunderbird was more like a museum piece you could drive, and most people didn't want to pay that much for a pretty face. It disappeared after just 3 years, proving once again that chasing legends requires more than just copying their looks. Number 5. The Dodge Challenger, the muscle car that remembered. When Dodge brought back the Challenger in 2008, they did something smart. They didn't try to recreate the Bel Air's era, they went after its spirit. The original Challenger from 1970 came along after the Bel Air's heyday, but it chased the same idea. Give people something bold, something powerful, something that makes them feel alive. The modern Challenger is unapologetically retro, looking almost exactly like its 1970 ancestor, but with modern power and reliability. It offers big engines, loud exhausts, and the kind of presence that made the Bel Air such a sensation back in 1957. Here's what Dodge understood that others didn't. The Bel Air wasn't just about looking backward, it was about making a statement. It said, "I'm here, I'm confident, and I don't care what you think." The Challenger captures that same attitude, that same refusal to be practical or sensible when you could be memorable instead. Unlike many retro revivals, the Challenger stuck around for 15 years because it delivered on its promise. It made people feel something, the same way that chrome-covered Bel Air did on summer evenings decades ago. Number 4. The Mini Cooper. British charm, universal appeal. The Mini Cooper doesn't look anything like a Bel Air, but it's chasing the exact same dream. When BMW brought back the Mini in 2001, they were betting that people missed cars with personality, cars that felt special even if they weren't expensive or powerful. The original Mini from 1959 was Britain's answer to affordable, cheerful transportation, small, efficient, and full of character. The new Mini took that formula and polished it up for the 21st century, adding modern safety and comfort while keeping that cheeky personality intact. Like the Bel Air, the Mini makes people smile, not because it's the fastest or the biggest, but because it has soul.
It's customizable in endless ways, just like people customize their Bel Airs with different trim levels and colors. The Mini succeeded where others failed because it understood what made the Bel Air legendary. It wasn't the fins or the chrome, it was the feeling that your car was an extension of your personality. The Mini is still going strong today because it gives people that same sense of individual expression, that same joy of driving something that feels uniquely yours. Number 3. The Volkswagen Beetle, 1998 to 2019, the longest chase. When Volkswagen redesigned the Beetle in 1998, they were reaching back to their own legend, but they were also chasing the same nostalgia that made the Bel Air immortal. The original Beetle was never about power or luxury, it was about honest, simple transportation that people loved anyway. The new Beetle kept that friendly, approachable character while adding modern comforts and reliability. It even came with a flower vase on the dashboard, which tells you everything about how it wanted to make people feel. For a while, it worked beautifully. The new Beetle sold well and reminded people that cars could be fun and friendly, not just appliances. But as the years went on, the Beetle faced the same challenge as the Bel Air. Times changed, and what people wanted from their cars changed too. By 2019, SUVs ruled the roads, and a small, quirky car that prioritized style over practicality didn't make sense anymore. The Beetle's production ended, just like the Bel Airs did, but both cars proved the same thing. When you create something with genuine character and charm, people remember it forever, even after it's gone. Number 2. The Chrysler 300, Art Deco on modern wheels. The Chrysler 300 that arrived in 2005 didn't look like a Bel Air, but it understood the assignment perfectly. With its squared-off grille, bold lines, and presence that commanded attention, the 300 was doing exactly what the Bel Air did 50 years earlier, making a statement. Chrysler borrowed styling cues from the Bentley and other luxury cars, creating something that looked expensive and important even in its base trim. The 300 gave regular people the chance to feel like they were driving something special, rolling up to the grocery store in a car that looked like it cost twice what they paid. That's the Bel Air formula right there. Accessible glamour, style that anyone could aspire to own. The 300 succeeded for nearly 2 decades because it captured that essential truth about the Bel Air era. People don't just want transportation, they want to feel good about themselves when they're behind the wheel. It finally ended production in 2023, but while it lasted, the 300 proved that you could chase the Bel Air's legend without copying its looks. You just had to understand what made people fall in love in the first place. The feeling of driving something that made you sit up a little straighter and smile a little wider. Number 1. The Chevrolet Bel Air itself, the legend that can't let go. Here's the beautiful irony. The car that's been chasing the 1957 Bel Air the longest is the Bel Air itself. After 1957, Chevrolet kept making Bel Airs, but they were never quite the same. The 58 models were bigger and heavier. The 59s had even wilder fins. By the 1970s, the Bel Air name was attached to basic fleet cars and taxis. Chevrolet spent decades trying to recapture what they'd created in 1957, that perfect storm of style, optimism, and cultural timing. Every few years there are rumors about bringing the name back, concept cars that hint at a revival, designers sketching what a modern Bel Air might look like. The 1957 Bel Air became so legendary that even its own manufacturer couldn't figure out how to follow it up. It existed at a perfect moment in history, when America was confident, chrome was cheap, and people believed the future held nothing but good things. You can't recreate a moment like that because the moment itself was part of the magic. The 1957 Bel Air didn't just chase a dream, it was the dream, captured perfectly in steel and paint and chrome. Frozen forever in that one golden summer when everything seemed possible and the open road stretched out endlessly ahead. The 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air wasn't just a car, it was a promise about what life could be. It promised style, excitement, freedom, and a tomorrow that would always be brighter than today.
Every car on this list has been chasing that same promise, trying to give us back that feeling we've been missing since fins got smaller and chrome gave way to plastic. Some came close, some missed the mark entirely, but they all tried, and there's something beautiful about that. They remind us that once upon a time, cars weren't just about getting from here to there. They were about the journey, the style, the statement you made when you pulled up. If this trip down memory lane brought back some good feelings, hit that like button and let us know in the comments which modern car you think comes closest to capturing the Bel Air's magic. And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got plenty more stories about the way things used to be, the things we've lost, and the reasons we keep looking back. Until next time, keep those memories alive and those chrome dreams shining bright.